The idea for a varsity athletics club has been part of the vision for Okanagan athletics for more than 20 years. In the last year, the time finally seemed right to make it a reality. Working with department staff, the HAC, Thunderbird Athletics, and Don Wells, we have worked to build on the UBC tradition while creating our own unique identity. It's been a very enjoyable project and one I think that we are all very glad to finally see completed. Our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Doug Orm, is unable to join us this evening as he is in Vancouver working. However, I think it's important to note that without his support for athletics at the board and athletics level, our programs would not have the standing within the university they now enjoy. While not a varsity student athlete himself, Dr. Orem understands the value of a strong athletics program brings to the university and acknowledges the reality of the cost to do it properly. During the crucial time developing our entire new campus, he listened, he understood, and he delivered what was required to make the Heat the young and growing program it has become. Next time you see him on campus, please take time to say thank you. This time it's my pleasure to introduce Don Wells, UBC Athletics historian, to give us a little background of the Big Block Club.
We know that it was not an easy thing to get UBC Okanagan Heat admitted to the Canadian University sports system. And it wasn't an easy thing to get Canada West to say yes to UBC Okanagan. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of convincing. It took a lot of consensus building among members of the university's campus community, including its senior leadership organization. So my first point is simply this. This has been a landmark year in the history of UBC Okanagan. Year one as members of Canadian Inter-University Sport and of the Canada West Conference. And that historical breakthrough is almost entirely attributable to your athletic director, Rob Johnson. Rob, I believe you are to be warmly congratulated for what you've achieved. I think that student athletes often need to be reminded just how incredible their accomplishments are. Sometimes you are so immersed and consumed by what you're doing, combining competitive sport with post-secondary education at a world-class institution, that you yourselves fail to see the true merit of your accomplishments. You are, at this point in your lives, making very powerful statements about who you are, about what you're made of. When you graduate from this institution, and your resume says that you're also a varsity athlete, that varsity athlete part instantly differentiates you from the rest. It's an important word, differentiating. It differentiates you because people in leadership positions usually know the inescapable truth that it's not easy to be a varsity athlete at a very fine institution. So what exactly does that resume say? The one that says you graduated from UBC Okanagan and that you were a varsity athlete. It says more than you might have imagined. This is what I think it says about you. And again, this too is from the heart. It says, I am intelligent and resourceful. I am focused and disciplined in both short-term and long-term endeavors. I am a capable researcher and an independent thinker. I can be counted upon to deliver results under trying circumstances. I can manage and optimize financial resources. I'm a problem solver. I'm a time manager. I'm a skilled communicator. I can listen with an open mind to opposing points of view and formulate my own evidence-backed conclusion. I have an open heart to the richness of diversity. I've acquired deeper understandings about other cultures, about how we're all different, and about how we're the same. I have stick-to-itness and a can-do attitude. I can interact with other people to achieve important common objectives. I have a competitive spirit, and I have a sense of fair play. What you're beginning tonight is a tradition that will endure for an infinite period of time, and it will be celebrated annually for generations to come. From this book, Flight of the Thunderbirds, there is a short passage. The Men's Big Block Club was formed in 1929 largely to provide volunteers to stage and promote UBC sporting events. The Women's Big Block Club was formed in 1930-31 with women's basketball team member Mary Campbell serving as its first president. The clubs were also a means of recognizing student athletes who had competed for a minimum of 2 seasons on a varsity team, thereby earning their block letters, a tradition that had been borrowed from the Letterman tradition at the University of Washington. UBC honored its first Letterman in 1921 at the first presentation ceremony conducted by UBC's second president, Dr. Leonard Sylvanus Klink. Today, UBC's Big Block Club has almost 10,000 members. They're spread throughout Canada and in many nations of the world. And they are leaders in every field of endeavor. And they stick together. They're friends for life. Some of the most cohesive alumni groups from UBC are groups of former teammates. Some hold golf tournaments annually to talk about old times and raise money for athlete scholarships. Others still get together to play hockey or soccer or basketball. Others meet for breakfast every Saturday. But the one thing they all have in common is that sense of belonging to something bigger than themselves, and something that is still a major component of a famous academic institution. And for that reason, they are reaching out like never before to help UBC student athletes, connecting them to business leaders, donating to scholarship endowments, providing mentorship and employment opportunities. What started out in 1929 as a group of students helping to stage varsity games is still here today, stronger than ever, and working to ensure that the current generation of student athletes is having the best experience possible. And so tonight I want to encourage you all to think about what you want your traditions to be. Ask yourself, is this all I want? Am I okay if it's over here and now after I've graduated? Or will you say, I want to stay a part of my athletic program, or my team, or my university? Now that you have an identity of your own, what will the purpose of your UBC Heat alumni organization be? I do hope that you'll think about this in the days, months, and years ahead, because in all likelihood, someone like me is going to come along in 50 years' time, or more, and write a similar book about the UBC Okanagan Heat. And maybe there'll be a section that will go something like this. April 3rd, 2012 marked one of the most historic and transformative occasions in UBC Okanagan history, the inaugural presentation of the coveted UBCO letter rings. The evening unfolded in the sunroom of the administration building. And on that evening, a group of some 100 student athletes and coaches gathered to celebrate their induction into an organization which would evolve into one of the most recognized in the entire province of British Columbia. In every way imaginable, an evolution had truly begun. I'm sincerely honored to have had this opportunity to participate in your historic celebration. Thank you very much. Best wishes to all of you.